Cool. How you going, Daniel? Where you from, man?
California. So
California.
it's like just finishing up my workday.
Nice. What's the time over there?
3:45 right now, afternoon.
Okay. What do you do for a living, man?
Work in supply chain
Okay.
risk management.
Okay. So is your work being disrupted too much by the whole thing, or is it not too bad?
Uh, it was like crazy busy. Probably through from like beginning of February through maybe about like a month ago, but it's kind of slowed down since then, so it's not too bad.
Okay. So, what are we looking at here, Daniel? What do you want to? What's your champ pool? Talk me through your champ pool and what are we looking at?
Yeah, so I think I probably have a wider champ pool than most. Like I played competitively from like season two to season four, where I was consistently scrimming and playing like high diamond. This was my Smurf, so I realized there's no season two, season three here. Um, so I, as a part of that, you tend to expand your champ pool. So I think like when I was actually playing competitively, I probably played like 10 to 12 champs, right?
Cool.
So I feel like I probably have like a wider pool than most people, and I can kind of just pick things up and have a pretty good grasp. But this season is like the first season where like climbing doesn't just happen mindlessly.
Mm.
So basically, after season six, I pretty much stopped playing more or less. So like even if you like season seven, whatever, I play like I don't know, like just a minimal number of games to hit like whatever.
Mm.
Um, and like pretty much every season, like if you look at that season, I just played Dogma on like 84% win rate and just spammed it.
Yeah, you have like no,
Um,
you have like barely any games played.
yeah, so pretty much after season six, like I wasn't playing competitively and I kind of just stopped having fun with the game, like playing casually. So I
Yeah.
played other things. And then I decided to come back. Pretty much like the very end of last season, I played my 10 placement games, placed gold, and then didn't play. And then I maybe about a month ago now, I added up in the family, and just kind of to get my mind off of that, just started spamming the crap out of League.
Right.
Um, and that's kind of where I've been. And then so I hit plat in like I don't know, like 35 games or something. I went like 3 and 7 in my placements, and then just like climbed from whatever crap I placed at up to platinum and like no games at all. And then pretty much just sat plat 4 since then. I hit like plat 3 like 70 LP or something, but other than that, I've pretty much been right where I'm at, just spamming games and losing a ton.
So, out of interest, you said in season two and three and four, you were playing a lot of scrims and you were like a high diamond player. What sort of
Mhm.
mid laner were you back then? Were you more of like the mage player, or were you more of
Yeah.
an assassin player?
Yeah, so I
Mage.
think one of the reasons that I stopped playing competitively is because the meta shifted it really hard to it was like when Zed came out was super
Yeah,
overpowered.
I was
So there's a
I
lot
was
of
playing at the
Zed.
exact same time.
Um,
That's when I played
yeah,
competitive as well, and I had to learn
like
Zed.
Zed LeBlanc,
Yeah.
like Fizz was like pretty meta at the time. So I mean, the champions just don't like they just didn't really fit like my general mindset, right? I
Yeah.
played a lot more. And Nibia was my main, like when they had like the actual like ranked fives, like ladder,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like the team ladder. So like we were like my team, we were like ranked two or whatever at the time, and like spammed to Nibia. I had like a 94% win rate over like
Yeah.
80 games. So I play like a lot of Anivia, Oriana, like uh,
Okay.
Casio, um,
You're one of the OG mid laners. Yeah, you got the OG mid
yeah,
laner pool. I
Twisted
understand.
Fate, whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
All my Twisted Fate stats here look like shit. So I came back like those first placement games. I played nothing but Twisted Fate, and like I didn't actually like look up a build. I was like, ah, fuck it. Like I was gonna build Ludens, and I just like inted every game.
Right.
And then I think since I went like 8-2, I was like, oh, people build Roa, and then every game's a joke.
Yeah. Okay.
But pretty much, yeah, like I said, since I hit plat, pretty much just I feel like I can't win a game where both my sides lose. Like
Mm.
I outside of Zareth, where like I have a few 1v9 games
Mm.
where it's fine. Like every game where both my sides lose, I lose.
Okay. So, out of interest, what are some of the things that you've been focusing on as an individual?
So I think when I first came back, the first thing that kind of happens is I was trying to get my general micro back, which I'm still obviously not where I was because playing 12 hours a day and doing all that it adds a lot to your micro.
Yeah.
But I'm at least at a point where like I'm not complete crap. And then from there it was just like map awareness. So like I think the game that I picked to go through with you today
Yep.
is a game where I was completely in a position where I should be able to carry and win the game, even though my lanes are losing. Um, and I just feel like I'm not identifying, the moments, or I'm not doing enough to win that game. And this was a game where I felt like I had like my normal level of focus, where like when I was playing competitively, this is how I would be thinking throughout the
Mm,
game.
mm,
So I felt like, if I'm, at a point where I'm giving that level of focus and attention, and every call that I have in my mind is like, generally panning out how I'm expecting, that I should be able to then identify the play that would win the game, because that's like, as a competitive mid laner, that's pretty much your job, right?
yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's pretty
Okay.
much my main thing. So now I'm trying to be consistent with that level of like focus and uh
Right.
yeah, just attention to detail, I guess.
Okay. Well, the game has evolved a lot, and there are a lot of things. So, I mean, I can understand how the game would be a little bit overwhelming coming back. Like the way the game was played in season, 1 to 4, season 4, season 5, even though any of those seasons, competitively, it shifted completely. See, from
Mhm.
like season, because I played competitive up to about season 6, then
Sure.
and then season 7, 8, 9, or it was season 7, whatever. I think I played half of season 7, and then season 7, 8, 9, 10. It's just a completely different ball game. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to kind of see and we talk about, what are some of those gaps in knowledge? What are some things that we need? Where do we need to direct our attention? Where are you currently directing your attention, and why is that the case? That sort of thing. I'm sure there's a lot we can get into there. One thing I quickly want to talk about before we get into the gameplay, though, is the build. Now, I've spoken to a lot of Ekko one tricks, and I really dislike third item Rabadons on Ekko, and you seem to go it every time.
Interesting. Okay.
The reason being is that it the okay, you can't view Zonya's, yes, okay, raw damage wise, it's not good. But the one thing you got to keep in mind is CDR, and more importantly, the active. So what the active actually allows you to do, it allows you to push your limits and use your ultimate a lot more greedily. It allows you to get damage off that you wouldn't have otherwise been able to get off if you didn't have the active. So the way I like to view it, it's like opportunity cost. What's the opportunity cost? What are you getting from Rabadons? You're getting a lot more burst, that sort of thing. But you have to be a lot more careful because your only form of self peel is your ultimate, basically. I guess you have your W as well, but your main form of escape is your ultimate. Now, it is something to think about because the way as well Ekko works as a champion is that he has generally pretty high cooldowns. So you use your full combo, you go in, you try and get that burst, and then like you ultimate out or whatever. Now, what Zonya's actually allows you to do, you can go in with a full combo, and instead of having to ult out, use Zonya's, and then your next rotation of spells actually comes up. So you can sometimes get 2 rotations of spells without even having to use ultimate, or then use ultimate on the second half, or the second after the second rotation. So, that it's that sort of thing. Or you can do your first rotation of spells, ultimate, go back in again with your Zonyas, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of things you can do with Zonyas. I urge you to experiment with it. I've spoken to a lot of players, and all the best Ekko players go. Okay, not all of them, but majority of all the best of the ones I've spoken to and the ones I've studied, really like Zonya's third item. So try that out.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah. So the game that I sent you was like maybe like 20, 25 games into like learning Ekko.
Okay.
So played a crap ton of my Smurf, and this was probably like, I don't know, 7 or 8 games in on my main. So
Okay.
yeah, probably right on like my 25th game, and my first time facing this particular matchup with LeBlanc. So
Okay.
I think the start of the lane, I kind of feel it out, and then I get a good feel for the lane.
So this is actually a hard matchup. It's a counter matchup. LeBlanc's quite good into Ekko. It's always been a good counter into Ekko. This is actually a matchup that I strongly recommend TP.
Yeah, so I think really shortly after this lane started, I realized that I would greatly prefer TP.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's
I
one of
think in
those
my
matchups.
mind, like whenever you face LeBlanc, like one of the like what happens super often is you proc passive and she walks away. And like one of the advantages I think in like against LeBlanc in general, I always feel is like you ignite right before the passive procs, and it's really easy to identify the correct target and actually secure the kill.
You know what I've actually
Um,
realized though? Now, you know how it didn't used to do that, but now what it actually does, it actually ignites both.
oh really?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the thing as well. I thought that as well when I first played Ekko. I thought when you're playing this matchup, and now it just ignites both of them, and you'll see it. And it's actually, it's actually, I think it wasn't like that back in the day. You
that's
could,
interesting.
but they changed it, yeah, which is the downside of this as well of this matchup. Um, but yeah, that's just a bit annoying. But yeah, like again, the thing with Ekko in a lot of these matchups is like you can get away with Ignite if you really understand the matchup, or you're just better than your opponent. But majority of the time, the way I like to deal with LeBlanc, like you said, is it's like as long as you minimize and don't give LeBlanc the kill and you farm well to your first bike, these LeBlancs aren't going to be good enough to take over a game. They're just not. Like
Yep.
they really rely on getting a kill in the first six, level 6, that sort of thing. If you don't give them that, you stay healthy, you play for tempo bases, you come back with teleport, that sort of thing, you can generally just run them over. But
Yep.
anyway,
I totally agree.
so what were you thinking about heading into the game at this point, out of interest?
Uh, yeah, so pretty much I was thinking that I hate ganking Trinity lanes, especially Echo. I feel like he just walks away like 90% of the time. And that locking down Yuumi Kate's actually not that hard.
Hmm.
And the stun is super good if the Yuumi ever jumps out. So probably going to look to bot lane. I figured Zach is probably going to do a full clear, and both junglers suck, so it's probably just going to be a 1v1. Like early, there's really no pressure.
Cool.
So that's the basic gist of it. Pretty much every jungler at like any elo below diamond, I feel like just does a bot to top clear because their bot side is there to leash, and
Yeah.
they're not comfortable with top side clears anyway. So
Okay.
pretty much just say Zach's gonna do a bot to top clear, probably finish around like 310
Okay.
is like my general assumption.
Okay. Nice. All right. Let's get into it. So trying to, yeah, the way I want to do this again is I want you to really walk me through it, and I want to kind of, I want to, hear what you're thinking within the game in this initial laning phase, and then we can always go back and highlight some things that I'm thinking. But,
Yeah, absolutely.
Just want to kind of really get your thoughts on what are you processing right now.
Yeah, so like I said, this is my first time playing this matchup, so at the start I just kind of feel it out. Obviously, general idea of what LeBlanc wants to do in lane. So I just kind of, chill early levels,
Yep.
get whatever farm I can without trying to die. I take an early trade here that is like clearly miserable, going for the CS, I think, because so I just take the ignite or the electrocute. But I think that was just kind of me feeling it out and seeing how much damage she would actually even do with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then from here, I kind of just, farm the first like level and a half here. I actually thought I was gonna hit 2 off that creep, which is why I moved up like really aggressively because I was gonna E on her.
Okay.
And then I didn't and just got punished because that's standard. So I think pretty shortly after this moment, I realized that this LeBlanc is just going to tunnel on me this whole time, and I can probably just shove her in, and we get like an early back for a Dark Seal.
Okay.
And just come back with resource advantage because like she's refusing to thin the wave at all, really. Like even right now, she's not autoing. So I pretty much just realized that I could probably just push this in. LeBlanc kind of struggles with wave clear and be good to go.
Nice. I like that you identified that. Yeah, she's not thinning the wave at all.
Yeah.
This is actually
So this is when sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, just as a little note here, the way this whole lane panned out is generally not how you see Ekko versus LeBlanc pan out. Majority of the time in any Ekko versus LeBlanc matchup, just so you can get a little bit of insight on the matchup.
Sure.
All the way from level 1, like I am so scared to push in LeBlanc level 1 and 2 because Ekko's level 1 and 2 is actually really average unless you're versing a very bad champion. I mean, weak early champion. You need to wait till level 3, and even if you're level 3 and the wave's over here, it's incredibly hard for you to take good trades because LeBlanc just out trades you, and it's really easy to kind of chase you down the lane as well, and it's just very, really annoying. So generally, you find the way Echoes play out this matchup is that there's a one little tip here I'll give you that I don't know if you'll use it, but depending on how high level you want to talk here, like sometimes Echoes will actually walk up and they'll try and take an auto attack from LeBlanc. So then the minion aggro is actually going to shift onto, sorry, your minion's actually going to shift aggro onto LeBlanc, and then it's going to push into you. Because then a lot of these LeBlancs won't just W randomly onto you and AoE the wave, because then it hard shoves into you, and which Ekko can easily catch this CS under tower, like levels 1 and 2, bounce the wave, level 3, hard push off that wave, heavy trade, and level 3 and 4, you can even put 2 points in Q level 3 as well if need be for a heavy trade, play for the wave, and then play for a tempo reset. Because generally you can't really contest level 1, 2, and 3 anyway. So here, when I'm in this matchup, I'll actually try and sit in the middle of the wave. If they take the bait and just W, I'm like, all right, cool, that's awesome. I'll thin the wave a little bit just so it doesn't get really, really big, but I want LeBlanc to push me in. And if they don't take the bait and don't W and they just auto attack me, even then it's still going to get pushing into me. So generally that's the way I like to minimize some of these tougher matchups.
That makes sense.
But okay, get this wave in. And generally any matchup when you're versing LeBlanc, my whole aim is to either tether the W or stand behind creeps at level 3 so she can't hit the chain. Because if she can't hit the chain, her damage, you can kind of just like heal it up. I mean, it's not the end of the world. The real damage comes in when she hits level 3 and ease you. But if you can sit inside the wave, it's actually quite hard for her to reliably get damage. And like you said, she's not thinning the wave, so you identified that and you get the wave in. So what were you saying before, as we were kind of walking out of vision?
I was going to say, like I told you at the start, I thought Zach would probably finish clear around 310, so I worded 3 minutes here.
I like it. It's just a little dangerous. I mean, it's good that you got vision out, but it's hard like this. This is what I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about. It's so hard for you to win trades when the wave's like that. So you just got to play for the wave. The only downside of doing this as well is that you're not going to be able to stay in lane. It's harder for you to stay in lane long enough to get 750 for a Dorrant and a Dark Seal, which is just sometimes that's just the reality. But yeah, because like right now they have no corrupting pods. Is that a bit rough?
So the only reason I stay in lane here is this wasn't a cannon wave and my Eve was on Scuttle. So I think I like checked my Eve's progress on Scuttle and like, she was like just finishing it up. I see the Zach here, so
yeah,
I still feel okay. And then I can't believe I don't get both these CS. I do. So
this LeBlanc's playing very. Yeah, LeBlanc's playing very defensive.
Yeah, and now she's like 30% mana. So.
What's going on? Why is she not attacking you?
Yeah. Right. So pretty much, just end up playing this lane out. It's like something like this, and then I play 2 more waves out, I think, for next cannon.
Okay.
And then she's already so pretty much at this point, I just say, okay, I can just, like there's really not a whole lot of kill threat anymore. I am just going to shove in. I already know Zach's bot side, probably either finishing up this clear, he's going to show bot in a second. And I get just back here on this cannon.
So you get...
It's not even a cannon, if I stay 1 more wave,
Okay, let's go all the way back here.
Sure.
I want to go all the way back here. So you get that ward out, you stay, you want to stick around for the Scuttle, that's fine. One little tip though, if you are sticking around for the Scuttle...
So I walk bot and then I immediately realize I'm retarded and then move back up. If that was the point you were about to make, yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, okay, it's fine. She's got the Scuttle, she sees Zach here. This is so strange in the sense that you've kind of got away, and this is what I talk about, like LeBlanc's at Platinum, they just don't know really how to play the champion. Like, I think that they're using W on the wave like that. They don't take attack speed in their runes. Like, ideally, LeBlanc takes attack speed, thins the wave quite a lot, just uses all her abilities onto you instead of that. Because what happened, you're actually in this position. So what I was going to point out in this situation was that you're in actually a pretty rough spot about here. You're actually getting in a pretty rough spot because, okay, it's not the end of the world actually because LeBlanc's actually wasted a lot of mana as well. But just this whole lane situation, could have been quite rough for you, purely because because what I was thinking all the way back here at this spot, I think it was this spot here. Like you had already used 3 corrupting pots
Yeah.
at about this spot here, and you're only on 500 gold. And the scuttles, a potential scuttle fight could have broken out. LeBlanc would have been here, and it probably would have been unfavorable for you as well. But anyway, you got away with it. I don't want to go too much on about this.
Yeah.
You adapted well, and I like that you're thinking about trying to base on a counter wave as well. And I really like how you identified that LeBlanc was and the way she was playing. Like you adapted to the way she's playing, and I think that actually you've got that skill from being played the game for so long. Like you understand how to adapt to your opponents. I don't think that's someone who doesn't have game experience is able to do. But you stick around, you wait for the next wave to be a cannon, you get a good reset. So this is actually a really good reset for you. Really nice. Zach shows.
Yeah. So you said Zach shows here. He actually dies here in this play somehow.
Okay.
So they end up finishing off his passive. I go back to lane. I think LeBlanc is still. I don't think she's back yet. I think she's just weak autoing the wave down. Yeah. So pretty much I identify here that she's resetting. Zach just died, and I think I go for a plate because my bot lane's also resetting.
Now, one thing here, I guess this lane's going quite slow in a sense. You can go Revolver. I am just a massive fan of Darkseal and Ekko. Like, I just think Darkseal is just super, like, the way I see it is...
I think it's really good too, because most of the time I keep my corrupting pot through most of the game. So...
Well, it's more for the stacking of the passive, because the way Ekko works is that he's incredibly snowbally.
That's true too. Yeah.
And you're taking Ignite. So... Ekko getting 1 or 2 kills, he's actually one of the few mid lane champions that can reliably build Medjais because he's hard to kill when you're ahead. So I love getting Darkseal for both reasons. Yes, it's great with Corrupting Pot and Time Warp Tonic, but more importantly, I think it's great for the snowball potential. If you do get 1 random kill, you actually can upgrade that, or 1 or 2 random kills, you can upgrade that into Medjais, and you're going to be kind of unstoppable. Now, one thing I also like to think about in these harder matchups when you're versing anything that can heavy trade onto you, whether it's a Syndra, a LeBlanc, even like a Fizz, those sorts of things, anything with a lot of burst, I hate not having a Doran's ring because you don't have any health. Either, 1 or 2 things. Either, because you're incredibly squishy right now, in my opinion. Like, as soon as LeBlanc gets 6 as well, you're incredibly squishy, and you don't have the Darkseal for the extra sustain. So... I do, even if you have 1100 gold and you can go Revolver, I am still, especially in these matchups, a big fan of Darkseal Dorans. Darkseal Dorans. Whoops, Darkseal and Dorans. Whoops. And the other thing as well, if you have leftover gold, and if you are versing a heavy AP comp and a heavy AP mid jungle, you can also sit on a null magic mantle. Because I think this is a game that
I go Mercs anyway.
Mercs is actually pretty valuable this game. So you actually can sit on a null magic mantle. I guess your feel for the game was that she really wasn't pushing her limits. But Mercs this game I think is very valuable. You're versing a Yuumi, a Zac, and a LeBlanc. Yes, the magic pen would be really nice because you also have an Eve, but it is something to think about. So I think you will get punished for this specific item build if you play this matchup as you get higher elo. So it is something to think about just in terms of raw durability. You have no MR, you have no HP, it's why I'm not a massive fan of the Revolver straight away, even if you have 1100 gold. That's just my personal preference.
That's cool. You'll see me get punished for this very shortly. So.
Okay. Fair enough. So, you recognize that LeBlanc has no tempo.
Yeah, I will say that, in general, I think, because this was still one of my earlier Ekko games, that I don't adapt as much. That particular situation.
Yeah. Cool.
But
so right now, what do we know about the jungle, by the way? Sorry to interrupt, but what do we know about the jungle?
Yeah, so Zach just died bot. I assume he's going to go back into a topside clear because after the scuttle, we saw him go bot. I assume he already did his wolves and Gromp before that gank because it was maybe a full minute later that he finally ganked bottom. So I assume he's going back into his topside jungle probably in the next few seconds as he just revived.
Okay.
And then LeBlanc just base. So like I said, I think I go for a plate here since I have really nowhere else to go.
Yep. So where are you thinking about putting your pink this game?
So, like I said, I think bot lane is really like the only lane that I can consistently gank.
Yep.
So I'm pretty much going to put it in bot dot, I'm pretty sure. I
Brilliant.
take a tower shot here, but kind of wanted the mana for my Dark Seal anyway. And then I boomer APM my Q. But yeah, and LeBlanc comes back. Pretty much still, like I said, assuming Zach is above me, so I'm just kind of leaning bot side, even though I didn't ward.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I shove this wave in and probably go ward. I do some dumb crap because she missed her Q on a minion, I think, right? Yeah. So she Qs a minion, and I decided I want to punish like as I throw my Q somewhere else.
Right.
So I tried to like move through her, but I was just really slow. I just don't think I identified it fast enough. This is just like
Yeah.
it goes back to boomer APM. So anyway, she shoved under tower. Fight breaks out top lane. So I move first because I'm gonna be way in front of her, but they both get absolutely murdered, and then I int into the Zach Q. Probably at this point I should have walked away as soon as the Fio went over the wall. Anyway, I end up killing the Zach with Null here, but it's like, yeah, I think it was a pretty easy play to identify that it sucked. And then I int here, as I realized I could have completely got away if I just kept walking down, probably. But instead I just int out.
Okay.
This is one of the, I would say, like 3 really crappy decisions that I identify in this game.
I want to quickly. There's a few things I want to highlight here, actually.
Sure.
First thing is that there's pings going on top. You go for this trade. Now, the first thing you should be doing is panning your camera topside to assess the situation after this trade. Like, you've done the trade, you're backing up a little bit here. Now, what I strongly, strongly recommend if you are seriously considering climbing, like out of platinum into diamond, even high diamond, you need to bind your buttons to MB1. Or do you have buttons on the side of your mouse?
Yeah, so I actually rebound these specifically to do that and just keep forgetting.
Okay.
So,
I
yeah.
highly recommend you putting in the time to learning them. The best. So these are my 3 binds: T for bot lane, MB1, MB2 for top jungle.
Yep.
Because T is so close to R. Now, the way of practically learning this, I've actually found that in between bases, when I'm actually just not actively using anything, I'm not doing anything, I actually practice them as coming out of base, and in little lull states where I'm not needing to rush to do anything, but just to get the habit down. So you're not going to be able to go from 0 to 100 in the sense like I never use it and then I'm going to use it perfectly. It's going to be a gradual grind each time, and these 10%, like each time, these 10% improvements are going to come from every single time you're coming out of base, every single time you're in a lull state. Then you'll find, you just end up using it like a little bit more and more skirmishes, more and more and more. You'll still click the minimap and drag your camera and things like that, but it will improve over time. And that's what I found for me. At the start, I was dragging my camera a lot. I was clicking the screen a lot. Then, and now I'm getting quite good at it. And it's just a gradual process. So you need to at least begin this process. Big time.
Yeah, I agree. I find myself seeing the points where it's useful, like where it would be more useful.
Okay. To be honest, in this situation, it's okay. The way I actually like to view these things, I actually don't mind. This is the way I like to view it. At the end of the day, this comes to understanding your limits. It comes down to understanding. It understands actually. It's actually way before this. So this is what I talk about when I think of skirmish assessment. Good players don't just look at a situation and know exactly what to do every single time. The reason they know what to do, and I found this with myself as well, the reason they know what to do is because they've already primed themselves to think about when it is and isn't good to fight for their champion. Now, what do we know in this game so far? Well, look, what do we know? We know that you're in a decent spot. You're healing up. You've got 2 pots. So individually, you're in a pretty good spot. But look at the jungle. What do we see here? A level 5 Eve with no ultimate, no mana, and half resources. Now, when you're coming to in any of these games, it's really important to understand not just your win condition, but just overall, like, what are some of the strengths within your team? So I know in a lot of these situations, and I always like to think about this as I'm coming out of base and remind myself, like, what are some of the strengths of my team? If I know I have a Nocturne jungle or a Karthus jungle or even a Wukong jungle, a lot of these champions are extremely ultimate reliant. Now, it's a lot easier to play these fights out when you have a Lee Sin, a Rek'Sai, a Lise, any of these champions that can just scrappy skirmish, that don't really need ultimate. But when you are playing with champions that are extremely ultimate focused, it's important to think about that because it will drastically improve your decision making process when it comes to those split second decisions. So what I do recommend, you pan your camera, you assess the situation, you're like, all right, I'm going to lean, and this is really good just to lean and decide on the way through. But as soon as you see this,
Yeah, I think this is like the moment. So I think it's really interesting because even when I reviewed this, I didn't actually notice that my Eve had no mana.
yeah.
Um, because I guess like I don't understand why she would walk up with literally
Mm,
like 5% mana right now. When the Fiora was like at her tower, like
mm,
not even under threat. So I guess that play doesn't make sense. So I assume that like they chose this 2v2.
mm,
It can't suck this bad. But
mm.
obviously it does. But I think that was my thought at the time was like
Yeah.
they're initiating this. Like you said, there are pings going on.
Mm,
Like they want this fight. So I don't understand why the Eve wouldn't like call it off with 10% mana and walks up into the
mm.
2v2 that they already know is there.
So,
Like
yeah, I mean, it's just the way it is. I'm pretty sure Eve didn't want the play, but Fiora got ganked. I'm pretty sure. Oh, I don't know what. Actually, to be honest, I think Fiora actually did want the fight. I actually don't even know what was going on. But in saying that, the thing that's replicable moving forward, again,
yeah, I
I
understand.
always like to think about like what do you see here? You see that Eve is not level 6, has no mana. You're gonna get collapsed on. There's no real advantage here.
Yeah.
Trinket, like you said, Trinket, you've already identified that isn't the side that you ideally want to play towards. This is not the fight that Eve wants at all. And then you kind of just like, yeah. And I still think you could have easily escaped here, even if you wanted to. You had Flash and E.
Yeah, I
And I
think as
actually
soon as
think,
I go down here, if I just keep going down, I live. Especially, I think like my corrupting pod even comes back up. Or no, I have to
and,
start it. But,
and your W usage and you just get hit by the E as well. Like all these things, like there's little things in this skirmish that will come with time with Ekko. But
yeah,
overall, like I think you probably could have escaped. But again, what's replicable and what we can take from this is just straight up assessment of like way even before this.
where would you W
Way
here?
Where would I
I'm curious.
W?
Yeah,
Well, whenever I see Zach jump, I'm definitely not going to W there. I'm probably going to look to W on my team for self peel, to be honest.
yeah, okay.
Um, so that's and if Zach jumps on my Eve, then I know I'm going to get the stun down. That's the way I would think in these fights. But
Yeah, I think I was looking for the Tryndamere because I just wanted to pop him with Ignite, and
right.
like then he just immediately backed off as soon as I pressed W.
Hmm. So this is actually not too bad for you at all because again, Ekko's a champion that actually doesn't mind trading 1-for-1 kills. But anyway, what I do want to think about, what I do want you to think about, what's replicable way before this
Mhm.
is understanding your jungle situation. And like you even said this, you're most likely going to be in an isolated 1v1, and you have thought about this a little bit in champ select, that sort of thing. But
Yeah,
it is important just to like, because we're actually in a very, very jungle centric meta, and the game's actually got to the point, Daniel, where mid laners have to facilitate junglers incredibly hard. It's just the reality of mid lane right now. And the game's been slightly shifting more and more towards playing for the jungler. And specifically in this meta, we're seeing Nidalee, Graves, Eve. Eve's actually really strong right now. So like a lot of these carry more control-oriented champions that you need to facilitate. And I just feel like you just failed to identify that. So all it does, and what I recommend is like when you're coming out of base, that sort of thing, remind yourself like, what can I expect from my jungler? What does my jungler need from me? And I think, yes, this does at the end of the day come down to situational awareness, which I don't think it's probably going to be a big problem of yours, but it is something that it's just an interesting thought for you to dwell on as well. But anyway, I don't want to go on this any further. It's not too bad for you. So what do we go here? So
I actually think I might pick up a Dark Seal here. I think I go Boots, Dark Seal, and a Kindle and a Ruby Crystal. So I was trying to optimize the amount of gold I had. I still had a pink,
yeah,
so
I like it. I like it much better.
yeah.
You come
So
back. You got tempo. What are we thinking here?
yeah, so at this point, pretty much assume Zach's going to go clear his bot side jungle because his buffs are back up. And I don't actually remember what I even do here anymore because this game was like maybe a week and a half ago or something. But I think that was like my main assessment is that LeBlanc recalled. I'm going to probably go drop my pink here.
Yep.
Now she tries to freeze. I pretty much decide I don't really care. I'm just going to shove, and then I think I want to look for a roam bot. I think my
Okay.
main problem here, besides this trade sucking, is I think I was wrong about jungle location, and then I actually lose focus here and lose track of the jungle.
Ah, you were actually right. Because Zach went bot and ganked bot. You said that he was going to be on bot side for his camps.
Yeah, it's after this play that I lose focus and lose him.
Okay, but one thing I want you to take a look at here is just your trinket usage. If you're looking to play the bot side, you should actually ward on the blue. You can actually ward on the blue. You can actually walk up a little bit here because you've got a bit of time. You can do something a little bit creative, unless you were maybe you're potentially waiting to put your trinket on raptors, which is also very valuable versus Zach.
Yeah.
Sometimes I actually like to just chuck it on here as well, which gives a bit of protection to my bot lane because that's the side I want to play towards. Now, this is the main point I want to get across here, and this is actually something that when I learned Ekko, Daniel, that took me a while to understand. Is that for some reason my W usage on Ekko was terrible for so many games. I just didn't understand how to use W. It was the one ability on Ekko that I always forgot about. For some reason, I just tunneled on E and Q as an Ekko player.
I agree with this statement. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for me, what I realized is that I was holding on to W way too much. So in these situations, in any situation where you need to get the wave in, you want a heavy trade, you want to produce threats so they have to respect anything. Literally just in this situation when you want to unfreeze, just throw down your W here. Throw down your W here. You either just heavy trade, knowing that I would assume that Zach's on bot side. You can just heavy trade, knowing that you get the shield and it's good for you. Or more importantly, they have to respect and it's going to allow you to get the Q for the minions. There's no reason not to W in these situations.
Okay.
We just hold on. And like you, I've got a feeling you're very similar to me in a lot of ways. It's just like holding on to W, you're going to have a lot of the same mental blocks that I had when I first learned Ekko. And now like this is the sort of thing, you use W after, and it doesn't do anything, because she's already used the combo, you know? So, just hesitating when using the W.
Yeah, I think like all of my micro in this play is shit. Like even after I E, I fucking auto a minion for my E. Like it's all bad.
Well, just another thing as well is like in these situations, the strength of W is that it allows you to just heavy trade and just you pretty much always come out in the trade. Now the other thing as well, I actually really dislike. Okay, you either have one or two options. You're going to use your Q on the minions, and then you're going to have to respect, knowing that if LeBlanc trades onto you, you insta lose the trade.
Yep.
Or you actually hold your Q, you walk up, you bait her to walk onto you, and then you just take the heavy trade. You EQ back onto her, and you go for an even trade. But now look what you do. You use the Q, which is a go signal for LeBlanc to trade onto you because your Q's down, but you don't respect, you don't tether the W, and then you just take a trade for no reason. Even if you land the Q or whatever you say, whatever, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
because the trade is just terrible.
Yep.
So you need to understand that the way Ekko works is he's one of those champions that you get extremely punished if you're not extremely decisive on the way you want to play out your lane. If you want to play for wave, you got to all in on the wave and use your W, play for the wave and not be scared. If you want to play for trade, you got to all in on using the EQ combo and fully commit with auto attacks. Because otherwise, if you do half-half, you're going to find yourself just slowly losing trades over time. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
As Ekko.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think I think the video freezes here.
Okay.
So essentially, like she flashes out of my W and under tower and lives. Nothing exciting happens. But the Eve got spotted on that ward, like as soon as she placed the pink. But then the LeBlanc went on me anyway. It's like super confusing. But I don't know. I guess it all worked. Whatever. This is a really cool Bartle.
Nice. Okay. You should definitely be timing that LeBlanc flash, by the way. Especially if you're a platinum player, you need to at least be timing the flashes in your lane.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the Eve pinged it here, so I don't type it, but I just kind of made like a personal note.
Yeah, it's incredibly important. Incredibly important. Like, especially as Ekko, because Ekko is the champion that can punish immobile champions. I'm just really big on that.
Yeah.
Okay, this was you should have. I think you should have recalled here, to be honest.
Yeah, so I think the reason I didn't recall, like my
Mm,
reasoning at the time was because
mm,
the Caitlyn was here, and I didn't want to just give up like 2 free plates. But then she recalls here, which
mm.
I see. But I feel like at this point, like my cannon's here, kind of committed. I have Ravenous Hunter stack from my kill. I'm like, yeah, maybe I can just stay another wave and shove it in. And then I think I actually end up just like
This is the
freaking out the
perfect
next.
example where you just use W again. Here, just use
Mhm.
W. There's no reason not to. Just walk up and W. You actually win the trade, in my opinion. Yes, you can kind of get locked up and maybe you're scared of Zach, but even then, sometimes it's like it's not getting used anyway.
Yeah. So I think like there's a few situations where so anyway, I think the cannon's crashing, so I reset on the buy. But oh, actually, I think that's one of the reasons I stayed. If you go back, like I think I'm at like 900 and
Yeah,
like 50 gold or something.
you wanted. That's what I was thinking as well. You
Yeah,
just wanted to be
yeah.
proto belt. Cool. So you're in a really good spot this game.
Yeah.
Now,
So I
my
guess
only
that.
cons.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
I was gonna say I think like I get like 2 more kills from here, and I'm like 4-1, and I feel
Mm,
like the fact that I can't convert, a low plat game with like a 4-1 game out of mid on Ekko, like is symbolic of like some like mid game issues that I'm not identifying. So
well, without
yeah,
sounding rude, I don't think that the way you got these kills was on you though. Like the way I've seen you play Echo, like I don't think that you've got even the lane down pat on Echo.
sure. Yeah,
I
no,
think
I'm
that
not
like
saying
yeah,
that.
your
Like,
problem, yes, you are gonna have problems in your mid game, but all I'm gonna say is that like I think that you are going to struggle to be reliable on Echo and reliably get leads with what I've seen the way I've seen you approach this lane, especially with the use of your W.
mhm.
The use of your W is very telling to like a very not super inexperienced, but just like you're not super comfortable in this champion. I can just tell
Yeah,
just by
yeah,
the way.
for sure. I probably played another like 25 games of Echo since this game. So
Okay, yeah, that's just from what I'm seeing anyway from this VOD. So we'll definitely look at the mid game stuff, but I would still pay a lot of attention to your laning phase.
yeah, definitely.
So is there a reason you don't buy Pinkia?
No, this is just a failure. No reason.
I I actually
Uh,
think as well you should I actually think this is a game you potentially go sweeper right now.
yeah, so I go sweeper. I actually think like when I do buy sweeper, it's about 17 minutes, and
Mm,
it's like a game losing buy. Like I actually feel like it ends up hurting me a ton, and
okay.
I don't identify like so at the point that I do buy it, they've actually switched. They don't have a single yellow trinket anymore. They have like
Mm,
3 sweepers, 2 blue trinkets, and I buy a
mm,
sweeper and get like
mm.
absolutely no value the entire game.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I agree. I think actually this would have been a good time to buy sweeper because I would have been able to move bottom. Or,
Well, yeah. At this point in time, the way I see it is like
and I
you've
just
got
spiked. Yeah.
you spiked. LeBlanc has no flash. You're very very strong. I feel like you're going to be roaming right now. I don't think you're going to be playing for mid anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't even think Zach can kill you. To
Yeah.
be honest, I think you're just too
So
mobile.
that's actually what I identified here too. So pretty much I feel invincible at this moment. Like I feel like I'm super
Mm,
strong, and then I
mm.
kind of go back and play the lane out. Like I even get ganked, and it doesn't matter. These creeps just like swerve on me. Yeah.
Yep. Beautiful.
Yeah. So
Get the wave out. This is again like
yeah, same issue.
it's the same issue. You're doing both. You're hesitating. You're not all inning on the trade where because what you can do is literally just W walk up and then if LeBlanc and then if you landed the shield onto you, she doesn't respect and you get the EQ combo off. Great. If not,
So you don't
she
even
respects. You
care
get the wave.
if I stun her. You're just saying get the shield on my way through,
Yeah,
and
the
that's good enough.
shield is what and it's so annoying, dude. Like when you play in high elo and you verse good echoes, they literally throw the W down, and as a mage, you're just sitting there. You're like, well, I can't take the trade regardless. If I walk up and trade, I get stunned. But if I don't, if I sit from a distance, I can't really poke anyway. And then, especially since Ekko has proto belt, if I don't respect a lot, then he could proto belt EQ me with the shield, like there's no counterplay, especially when you have blue buff. You want to be using your W a lot. It's incredibly important. And again, deciding what you want to do. You want to play for heavy trade? Do you want to play for wave? Like, what are you actually trying to do here?
Yeah.
You need to be very decisive because this is the exact look. You're doing 50-50. You don't use your W late. You take a poor trade, that sort of thing. Like, it doesn't really make sense to me. Now, the other thing as well, I actually feel like it's hard for you to roam right now because, okay, there's a few things going on here. Your bot lane's in a really good spot. They've got plenty of vision. That is where I want to go. But more importantly, your Eve's just coming out in the map. So you're not in the best position to push and roam yet, because ideally you want to be making a play with your jungler. The other thing that I'm also thinking about is that you don't have a ward in the river. You don't have a trinket and you don't have a pink ward. So one part of me is saying play for the wave in order to get the wave in, clear vision, ideally use your trinket in 10 seconds and have a side to lean onto. But then one part of me is saying, well, because you're not going to roam anyway, because your jungler's not ready, I would actually prefer just a heavy trade onto the LeBlanc. Because you just hard with trades.
And she hasn't recalled yet. So
and she hasn't even recalled. So you're in a really good spot in that sense as well. So you can kind of see what I'm thinking. So as long as you're assessing what the trade-offs are, and I think this really comes down to like now, when you're already coming out of base, it's great that you're assessing what's going on with LeBlanc, but you should also be thinking about what is your next move? What are you thinking here? What do you think about what are you going to do? If LeBlanc bases, you should just be thinking about all these things. What's my teammate's location? What's happening in the side lanes? Right now, I don't think you pan your camera at all. You don't pan your camera top. You don't really pan your camera bot. I have no idea what the trades are looking like bot. I don't know what the trades are looking like top. I don't know if Eve's going to recall any of this sort of information, And then you see Eve recall, but
yeah,
you see where I'm getting at? Like, you can't, the way Ekko works is that, yes, he's a very independent champion. You can get things done on your own. But as soon as you start to head 10 minutes onwards and you spike and you want to influence the map, you need to start thinking about the quality of the trades in the side lane. You need to start thinking about your jungler's location. You need to start thinking about how are you going to push the pace of this game in a way.
Yep.
And I've actually seen this as a common trend, by the way, in platinum coaching sessions, is that they don't utilize this time out of base very well. Some people like you, they look at the mid lane, and that's very good. You're actually doing that, which is step one. But then this is only one piece of information in the puzzle. This is the next piece, all these things.
Like in general, like not that I'm not painting my camera obviously, but I do remember I identified like the Fiora is completely she's gonna recall,
Gotcha.
and that bot lane just got back to lane on tower, but just like minimap, I didn't actually look.
Yeah. Okay, so you come back, you take this trade.
Yeah, so I think like my thought behind this trade, even though like it all like it's like a crappy trade, but my thought and like I want to trade in general was that I just want her to recall so that I lose nothing by leaving mid. So I just wanted to force a recall and then be able to roam.
Nice. That's good. I like it. This is perfect. And if you're gonna force it very low.
Yeah. So for us to say like, hey, let's see if she's there, and then nobody cares.
Okay.
So I shove this wave in, and then I'm pretty sure I look to roam.
Beautiful. Nice. I like it. Oh.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty clean combo. And then I think this goes to the point you made earlier, which is that I don't deserve these skills. But
Well, it's not that you don't deserve that. I'm just saying. I mean, that was actually no, but I think this is a good play. I think this whole thing is good. The way you identified you wanted to trade, you pushed her out, you identified the side to lean onto, you're playing towards your jungle's location and your strong side. This is all good. This is a kill that is. I'm not here to say whether you deserve or not deserve kills, but like you've done the fundamentals. This is a very solid stock standard play, and I really like it. You're stacking up that dark seal. It's looking really good.
So here, I realize LeBlanc's going to be coming back like right now from that recall. So I actually go to try and just like take control of that choke where she's going to be coming from, and then the Eve kind of runs around in a circle for like a minute, and I realize if I don't hit the dragon, she's not going to hit the dragon. So I go. That was. I realize in this game, I think in one of the things that I reviewed is that I really should just be spam pinging right here.
You should just start dragon.
Yeah, or that, right? I think
I mean, if you,
I think the reason that I want this choke, it goes to my mindset of the champions that I typically play, right? Like I play Anivia, Orianna, like these types of champions that like all I want to do is zone their team off this dragon, right? And I think I take that mindset into other champions that don't have that same objective at these types of fights, right? Like you can see, like as an Anivia main, why I would just want that choke immediately, right? And like not care. All I want to do is zone the mid laner off.
yeah.
So I think this bush is like a fiesta. I think that's where like some of my mindset comes from in those types of situations.
This whole time, by the way, you should be using your mouse buttons to ping, like assess what's going on bot. This whole time, like after you make this trade,
Yeah.
because something happens bot right now. Just spam it. Just assessing what's going on bot.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I actually don't think I caught this play. Or am I looking like a second? But yeah, I probably followed LeBlanc. And this bush is a fiesta bush. So
You can just trade onto it, man.
yeah.
Right now, you can just EQ.
Yeah, I think I end up just going here, but like probably crappier because probably couldn't have actually W'd over if I did it like right like here.
All the way. If you do the EQ combo,
yeah,
and auto attack, you get the proc, you get the pretty much the insta proc. But more importantly, if she chooses a W onto you, you win the trade hard, and she can't escape. I mean, she can use her ultimate away, but either way, it's really good for you.
Yeah.
And the other thing you could have done is use W here.
Yeah, I think it goes back to like
W
what you said, which is just like don't W enough.
Yeah. I found that it took me at about 40 games of Ekko to get super comfortable just with the W. Like I could do everything else and I understood the identity, but I just wasn't using W.
I was actually thinking about that the other day when I was playing, where I think I was just thinking about like my general play style, and I thought the same thing. I was like, man, I really just feel like there has to be a better way to use this ability. Like there's no way that like this is the best I could do, right? So here I see Zach, so
even this use of W isn't as good. Like it's good to like do it like there, because then either way it's like okay, it secures, it allows you to get to this without getting poked, and then if she walks up, then you're gonna guarantee get the shield. Like just little things like that. I think this is still fine as well, but I don't know. I just feel like it's still not optimal. But it will come with time. But one thing I did want to highlight, by the way, was here. So you get this wave in. Because you haven't really assessed the situation bot. You're not panning your camera. You see LeBlanc here. But Zach engages. I would actually be running straight bot here. I don't think either one or two things. I would have been running around like here or trying to like run or go here. I would be trying to influence that bot fight because I know that I've already got the mid wave in. So either way, if LeBlanc trades onto me, I'm happy to trade back knowing that she misses mid wave. But if she does it and decides to go back to mid wave, I'm going to be at that fight first. Yeah, because I like you hovering here out of vision, but as soon as Zach shows, you have no idea that Zach's. Do you even know that Zach's like ganking bot right now?
I saw Zach on his last gank, but at this moment, no, probably not. Probably tunnel on LeBlanc as soon as I saw her start to move down.
Just like little things, and I think this will tighten up with just map awareness, using your mouse buttons. But anyway, recall, beautiful, Mercs. Right, I like it. I really like the buy. I like it. Now, in my opinion, right now, you're very strong. Eve's actually pretty strong as well, actually. She's 2 levels up. What's Fiora's score? Fiora's actually doing fine as well. Like, Fiora's not that far behind. Like, she's losing, but it's not terrible.
The reason that I basically wrote off top, I think, like, pretty early, was at some point in this chat, the Fiora like pings Trindamir's items and goes like, "Holy shit, how does he have so much gold?" And I'm like, okay, like that's not a good sign for like state of lane. So I pretty much just assume at this point, like between the play where I roam top and I watch her get absolutely dominated, and then like that comment, I'm just like, okay, she's just not doing anything.
Yeah, I'm not thinking gank her. What I'm thinking right now is like, what are you playing for? Are you playing for bot dives or are you playing for Rift Herald? Because what I'm thinking is, okay, how much, if a fight does break out, what is the top difference right now? Okay, because you've already gotten Dragon. The next Dragon's not coming up for ages. I don't think you guys have enough, but I don't think you guys have the ability to build enough waves because they have so much wave clear. Like from what I'm seeing, I mean, I'm not seeing the camera. You're not panning your camera bot, so I can't tell what's happening with the waves.
Yep.
But from my knowledge of the game, I'm assuming that the reason why you're not, like, the bot situation is not as favorable as I thought it would be is because Yuumi is obviously Yuumi and incredibly overpowered and the champion that I always ban. But more importantly,
Yeah.
I don't think they have the wave clear because the range difference. Caitlyn can always thin the wave. They can always thin the wave. So it's really hard to build waves. So it's going to be very hard for you to dive.
Yeah.
So what I was actually thinking in this game was, okay, given that situation, given I probably can't get a bot dive off, or from what's happened so far, can we force a fight on Rift Herald? So that's why I was assessing the top situation.
Yep.
And I think you can. Between you and Eve, I think you can win the 3v3 top side if you play it well and you pull out the Rift Herald. I think you could probably win that fight.
Yeah.
Now, right now, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, so Eve was topside now. So basically that was my thought as well, is that, we can probably play for Rift.
I don't like this play
Yeah,
here.
I didn't like that play either.
Like, you don't really have any vision. You got a pink ward. This is where you should be using your, my fundamental for mid lane 95% of the time is ward. So you push out the first wave, then ward. Sometimes even warding before pushing out the first wave. Like, I really like to know which side I'm leaning to and give myself plenty of room. Then make this play. And especially since you're versing a Zac, which is really annoying to deal with because they can come from over the Raptor pit.
Just like that.
Yeah. So again, right now, like, you're not. So the thing is, you're panning your camera, but like, it doesn't mean anything because you're not assessing the dive threat as well. Like, the way I see it right here, the first thing I disagree with is leaning onto bot side overall. I think leaning onto bot side is incorrect because I don't think you're going to be able to dive bot and your jungle is top side.
Mm-hmm.
And the next objective is Rift. So what I mean by panning your camera, and when I actually haven't really mentioned this in my videos, but how to properly pan camera and what you should be looking for. Obviously, you want to be looking for the quality of the trades, but you also need to, in terms of side lane dive, if you're playing a side lane diving champion, whether it's Galio, you're playing Talia, you're playing Ekko, Talon, any of them, first thing you look at is the quality of the trades. But the second thing you need to look at is, do they even have the ability to build a wave? If they can't build a wave, then it doesn't matter how. It's very difficult to dive someone if there's no wave. Mm-hmm. So that's also what you need to take into account as well. And I feel like when you're panning your camera bot here, you're not really taking that into account.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, actually, I think that's a really good thing to identify because it's super annoying. By the way, I dropped my pink right into him. It's like that's a good point because I didn't actually identify why I could never actually make a play on bot side like virtually this entire game. Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. I think in the past, like I take for granted that, like past seasons when I was playing, like if I got a shove and roam, like I got the opportunity where I had so much wave into their tower and I could go. Like diving bot was just a given. Like I don't know, like I would just say, hey, I want to dive bot, and we would just make it happen. And I just had to walk down, and the setup was there, right? But clearly at this level in solo queue dives are crap anyway. Like people don't play dives properly. So everything just doesn't align the same way that I think I would just normally expect. And I'm not
it's hard to think about like that.
Why?
Like you can't think of it like that because what I've actually tried to realize as well is that you can't think of the game in general terms. Like, yeah, there are going to be some games where you're just going to be easily able to push and dive every single time. But there's going to be some games where even though they're winning trades, it's not going to mean that you can dive. Right. So I actually have a video on this in roaming, on my roaming fundamentals. Like the way the game's evolved now is that people are a lot more cognizant of people are a lot more aware of what pressure leads to nowadays. Back in the day, a bot laner wouldn't even understand that a laner could push and move and roam. Like there was the concept of pressure and priority, and remember, it wasn't there, dude. Remember? Like no one thought of the game like in terms of pressure and priority. It was
for sure. Yeah.
It was very different.
I think that's why Zed came out so strong as well, right? It was just like, hey, you dunk on your lane and then you move. It's really simple.
What I'm trying to get across is it's important to think about, because I'm trying to teach you things that when you go into your own review, you're going to have the ability to review why things did or didn't work. Now generally the way even competitive works as well, it's gotten to the level where priority is great. And I literally talk about this in my drafting fundamentals video where priority is great, but there's actually there's a point where you have to assess the quality of the priority. The quality of the priority in terms of what does priority mean for that specific champion. So like getting priority on a champion like Orianna versus getting priority on a champion like Ekko is very different. Then more importantly, if you have two losing sides that are losing trades, the priority sometimes doesn't really mean much either when you might as well just be playing for scale and playing for freezing or whatever it is. But in terms of roaming specifically, again, you can't look at it as like, oh, at this level of play, dives just aren't good, or like they're way less reliable. It's actually not the case. It's actually way more. You got to be way more specific, and way more. This is where situational awareness comes into play, and just game sense. So it's like, okay, you're paying your camera bot. What do we see? We see that we've got two low range champions versus two high range champions. Yes, they're probably taking decent trades and they're scaling nicely, but because they're low range, they can't build waves.
Yep.
Okay, and then you need to think about, okay, what's the quality of the trades? Do we even have dive threat with these champions? How squishy are we? Where's our jungler's location? All these sorts of things. There's a reason the dive doesn't work. It's not just like the dive doesn't work because we're in platinum.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I just meant like in general, like when you do dive, they're generally less successful. And I think because of that, you don't see as many like junglers set up like let's 4-man dive every lane. Like,
yeah, I guess. I mean, even then, I just don't feel like it's useful to think of it like that, because it's like if the play's there, plays there. Because when I played TF in like gold, I was getting plenty of roams off and plenty of side lane dives off.
Mm-hmm.
But I was doing it because the way I did it was, again, I'll just assess the situation. Like some games, people were building waves. Some games they weren't. Some games I would get a lot of roams off. Some games I wouldn't. Like I don't like to. Because okay, the reason I'm calling you out on it, and the reason I'm saying that now is because I found that over time, we tend to tell ourselves like invisible narratives about the rank that we're in. So what actually happens is, let's just say you fail a dive bot as Ekko, and maybe it happens 3 games in a row. If you are, and this happens, let's say you didn't get this coaching, and then you weren't able to identify why that was the case, because you're like, wait, my bot lane's surely winning, they're my strong side, why can't I dive?
Sure. Yep.
And let's just say you weren't taking into account, the size of the wave, their ability to build waves. Now, over time, you may actually have a bias created because your default response is, okay, we're in platinum, the junglers don't understand diving, they don't know how to set up dives, I'm just getting frustrated, I'm just not going to dive anymore. And so even then there are going to be situations where the dive works because you've been not like, it's kind of like a habit created where you're just like, oh, scarred. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to get at? Like,
Yeah.
I've just seen this too often in people in elos, and they get scarred.
Bias in general, right? Like,
yeah. And I just want to be a little careful of that, because the player I want you to be, Daniel, and the player that I think League of Legends now needs as a mid laner, is that you need to be so adaptable. Back in the day, like me and you, we could get away with playing Orianna and Cassio and Xerath every game because the game was just played in a very linear, analog way. It was just very simple. But now the game's evolved. You got to be like water. You got to be very adaptable. You got to understand the variables at play, and you got to be able to switch the win condition. You got to be able to identify the win condition, and you got to be able to just move and adapt and figure out what you need to do next. And so that's why I really like to think about the game in terms of specifics as much as possible, because then you just feel more in control. Then you're like, okay, now I know why that did work, or now I know why that didn't work.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So yeah, no, I agree. I think that's a really good point on why I bought this game as well, that I didn't consider, and like why I couldn't get any really effective roam spot. But yeah, I think playing out from here is where I recognize a good amount of mistakes. So
okay, cool.
So I think.
So what are you saying? Sorry.
So I think up to here, like when I was rewatching this game, I felt like most of like my issues were mostly based around like I am not that good at Ekko in this game. Right. I definitely think now, as I've played like more Ekko games, like I said, I've probably put another like 25 Ekko games in since this game. I recognize some of like the bigger mechanical failures of this game. And I'm sure, continue to get better when I think about the number of like Anivia games I have or
For
Oriana
sure,
games. I
for
mean, it's
sure.
in the thousands, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think a lot of that stuff will just it will improve over time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think from here I make really poor macro decisions in several
Okay.
cases.
We'll take a look at them. We'll get into it. Okay. So what do we see here? Eve dives top or kills top. Sorry. Beautiful.
Yeah. So at this point, I blow my ward. It's whatever. My jungle's topside. We see the LeBlanc and Zac. So you know what? I danger ping. I assume that they see the 3 danger pings on those 2 people. And then we see Zac come back at me, and we know he's their Raptors, which is also pinged.
Okay. The first thing here is that using your ward here is it's not good because your jungle's topside. You can't defend it. The other thing here is, what do we know? Okay, this LeBlanc's wasting time getting the ward. Right now, I'd be seeing it pinging assist me on the Rift Herald, and what I would do right now is walk up, Q through the entire wave, W, Proto Belt, 1 shot, and then lean topside instantly.
Okay. So I do 1/3 of that. I Q through the whole wave for sure, and then I do want to lean top and get Rift. That's my plan. But yeah, I think the rest of it would have been a bit better. I think one of the reasons that I didn't do it is because I didn't consider Wing just the wave, and I knew Zac was there with LeBlanc, so I didn't want to overextend through.
Yeah.
We see them here. I make a compensating play.
Yeah, this is not good.
They haven't reacted to the Zac being bought this whole time, and then I'd go start to cleave the ward. So this time, like while we see the Zac and the LeBlanc bot, my Eve just does Rift Herald.
Yeah.
All right. Which, like, now as I look back at this play as well, I realize that walking bot right here, like if the LeBlanc just walked up on my Eve, she'd probably die and we wouldn't get Rift.
Yeah, that's what I was scared of right now.
Yeah, so that doesn't happen. What actually ends up happening is the LeBlanc roams down behind here. But
you know what you can do right now? And you know the play that you're missing out on right now? Look at this. So like I said, you one-shot this wave with Protobelt, which I haven't actually seen you use Protobelt actually basically this whole game. But that's another
I think I only use Protobelt. Like I use it a tiny bit more now on waves, but mostly I just use it like just gap close.
Okay. Now, the way I like to view it is like getting priority when your jungler's looking to do Rift or whatever on top side. It's just so important. But more importantly, right now, what do we know? We see that Trinket is dead for 22 seconds, and you're going to have mid priority, and you're going to be able to lead, and we know Zac's bot side, so this is beautiful. This is the perfect situation where you have plenty of time to do Rift, and there's going to be probably a trading sides of the map, where your bot lane's going to be weak side, but it's fine, they're respecting, they see Zac, they're fine, and then you're able to lean top side. Now, you know what the play is here, and this is what I talk about situational awareness. What do we know? We know Zac's top bot side, we know that Eve's top side. Eve's actually full HP. Your Fiora's actually got ultimate and is in a good position. You can literally walk over here and you can actually kill top again. You can dive top right now because Eve's top side, Zac's bot side. Eve's going to get rift, and then after you kill Trinket again, you can rift top. You can actually get double tower right now if need be, if you want. Or if LeBlanc goes bot, then Eve just goes mid after and you rift mid. Either way, like this play is so free because Trinket is going to come back with no ult. I'm assuming Trinket used ult. Pretty stock standard. I don't know 100%, but
yes. So I didn't consider the top play, but I think that's probably the best play.
The way I identified that though, rather than me just being a Reddit analyst right now and tell you the best play, it's because I know that I don't want to go bot side now. We're trading sides of the map, and I've identified that because the Zac's bot side and my jungler is top side. Like my default response 90% of games, especially if I'm playing Ekko, is rather than defending and reacting, I want to be proactive as an assassin. If I'm playing Galio or Twisted Fate, you can be reactive ult and you defend the dive, but I don't think bot's going to get dove anyway because they're staying relatively healthy and they're winning trades. So my default response, what I'm always thinking is, all right, cool, my Fiora got a kill, my jungler's top side, what else can I do on top side? Okay, what else can I do on top side? That's what I'm thinking. So I don't know. Sometimes, you're not going to be able to make this dive play, but at least I'm thinking about it because and the things I'm valuing is just straight up jungle location. That's what I'm thinking about. Jungle location. That's what dictates my decision making. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think my default response in general, like when I was playing competitively, is my lane has gone like bot as an example. Um, you know, if they see it, if it's pinged in advance, that they should not die, and I can try and make a play on the other side of the map. I don't know how often I do that now compared to, you know, previous. Anyway, I get chunked out here, and then the LeBlanc just walks spot. And then my Eve, like, just spam pings and burst mid just immediately. So pretty much all I can do then is, like, I follow Rift. It's basically my play.
This is fine.
Yeah.
Your usage of Q here as well, you should wait for the wave to come. Walk up and get the Q through the entire wave, not just use it on the melees.
So I actually thought that when I used it, they would walk up into it, but then they pulled off to the Rift, like when the Eve walks up, see the minions all swerve.
Right.
So I actually thought it would hit the whole
Okay.
wave, and then they swerved on me.
Okay.
And then I don't even think I get plates for that, or gold for that. So we take 2 towers mid here.
Yeah, this is really big, man.
For the dive on bot. And then I think like this play in general is pretty good. I think I realized that the Zac was bot side and is going to be coming back mid, so I walk up into the top jungle. The Raptors are respawning in a second. My Eve's doing red, so I choose not to back. Anyway, I see the Zac here, so I start to walk away, and then he basically says, whatever, I don't care about you. And my Eve, for some reason, kites up into their base instead of like down away, and she just ends. So I take my Raptors and move on.
I think I would have W'd here, by the way. I was just thinking. Like, yeah, you don't really want the fight, but my Eve is here.
I think it was just kind of too. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of just like, I figured she's doing red. Like, I guess my thought is she's on red. She's going to be kiting back towards our top side, right? Like into the bush, because that's what normal people do when they do buffs and counter jungling. But then she is like, she neither wants to fight and she also doesn't kite like away. So I don't know. She just kind of ends. So I feel like I just. I don't know. I thought she would just take the buff and we'd both walk away.
It's fine.
She doesn't look at me, right?
The other thing, though, is like you really need to start using your protobot on the wave, man, for tempo.
Yeah, especially here, actually. I think it would be pretty fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely something I can improve.
Okay, you got sweeper now. This is where you need to go. I think right now you honestly go on the side lane. You tell Vayne to go mid, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. So that's what I recognize in my review as well, is that I think I should be bot. But I don't. I just autopilot back to mid, and then Dragonflight happens right now anyway. So. And I think this is like predominantly losing play of the game. In like a perfectly even game to this point. So pretty much 100 at LeBlanc here. And I should have walked into this and didn't. And then I just walk away with this drag. Pretty much though, like I think the reason that we lose the game from here is because like of just like a mental block. Because yeah, I tilt from here. I think.
I actually think I'm surprised you go for the LeBlanc here. To be honest, I would have 100% went for the Caitlyn here and just like EQ the Caitlyn to 100-0 the Caitlyn. But
so the Caitlyn's getting just destroyed anyway, and the LeBlanc edges my stun, so I know it just seems like a good target.
Yeah, I think you made the right play. I'm just surprised. I guess my default response in these situations is just to make sure we one shot, but I like it. Ends up being, I think it's the correct play because you end up getting the stun off somehow, which is really good. Beautiful.
Yeah, I think I was just watching for her to edge in. Like I slowed down just to get her in.
The really annoying thing here is that you wait for your ult way too long because Because you actually get ignited here, but you can't tell that, but it was a little thing. Okay. Wait, what happens here?
And the Trinimir just goes off with Yuumi on him.
I mean, I think this is...
I think if I was walking to my stun here, like we win. At the same time,
I don't think the game's over though. The game's not over.
No. So I think the reason the game ends here is actually because like I tell them that we don't have an executioner and we deserve to lose, and then pretty much
we need executioner.
Yeah. So I think no XE was a good call. I think deserve to lose tilted the Bard.
Mm.
And this guy doesn't know what XE is. I also think that's a problem. So I think it.
I mean, it's just not needed, ideally, but you know.
Yeah.
So you should pray about the wave again.
All right, I'm gonna make this like.
You really need to do that, man. Because every second of tempo matters, every single wave. So this is where you really need to go on the side lane. Like it's very, very important. You should be top right now. Fiora should be bot matching this thing. This is all you should be thinking about coming out of base right now when you're recalling. Is this lane assignments? You're giving it up. It's fine. Just go straight top here. Tell your Fiora to go bot. The next objective is going to be the Baron coming up in 2 minutes. Straight away. Vayne goes mid. This will actually, I guarantee you, this is actually probably going to ruin. This is actually probably the game-losing play right now, because what's going to happen is that your team's going to lose so much control. Because what's going to happen is that Vayne's going to realize in about a minute or two that she shouldn't be bot, and then you're going to realize, then Fiora's going to realize, oh wait, I should actually be bot. So then you guys are probably going to both have to recall or do this really inefficient swap. You're going to lose a lot of control. Someone's going to get picked in rotation, and then they're going to get Baron, and then it's going to be a bad game. So if we fast forward here, you go mid. Vayne goes bot, Fiora shows top, and it's like, oh wait, I think I should. And then Vayne is like, look, Vayne goes, what's Vayne doing? Vayne's like, all right, because then what happens? You guys don't know what to do because you're split everywhere. This is just getting super weird. You know what the biggest win condition is here for you guys? Is that Trinimir has ignites. If Fiora goes bot and matches Trinimir, or at least forces Trinimir bots, and Vayne matches, dude, Vayne actually can. You guys, they can actually beat Trinimir if Trinimir tries to match. And then, if worst case scenario, right? I mean, the best case scenario is that, okay, you go top and you match Trinimir, whatever. Then where's LeBlanc going to go? LeBlanc's actually going to lose pressure to these two. So then what's going to happen? Kate, Yuumi are going to go mid. And then LeBlanc's going to be bot with Fiora, which, I know, whatever. Which is actually pretty bad. But I feel like even then, Evelyn can easily just hover and kill either side, in my opinion. So I think this is just so big, because what happens here, if Evelyn doesn't have a side to lean to, she actually becomes useless as well. She needs a side to lean to. So this is where you need to take control, because if I'm Ekko in this situation, I actually don't mind this game state at all, because I'm pretty happy to be in the side lane. And this is where Eve becomes OP. This is why Eve's actually OP in solo queue. Once it gets to this point in the game, all the towers are broken. LeBlanc in the side lane is so incredibly scared, because if she ever W's forward, she has no idea where Evelyn is, and she can just kill anyone in the side lane. This is where Evelyn really comes into play. So Evelyn as a champion, if she can't reliably play to a side, it's so hard for her, and it's going to just make her useless. And now, and look, Evelyn's now desperate to make a play. But because no one's playing to the side lane, she's super confused. She doesn't know where to be. She's forced to go mid and make this weird play. She should not be the person engaging. She should be the one, like, sitting in the side, waiting for someone to be engaged on, and then cleaning up. So this is massive. Now Vayne's bot, Trinimir's getting played top. And now Trinimir's getting away with being top lane, even though, and not having TP, even though Baron's up. Like, this is really annoying. Now, eventually, Vayne's mid. You go top here. Chase down this. Okay, beautiful. Now, Eve's bot for some reason because she died. This is where the game gets chaotic. Because, you know, like, these people don't know what to do. And you know what I've actually found? And I said this to one of my last clients with the Victor as well, is that in gold and platinum, very few of the people, no one will really take control of the situation. You'll find in high diamond and master tier, people will start to take control and literally make calls. Like, I want you to hover me. I want to play for this. fix the lane assignments, that sort of thing. But every elo before that, people kind of either autopilot or they just play. I mean, I don't know. They don't think about what they need to do to create a favorable situation.
Yeah,
And
I
this
think you
was
got
a
a really
perfectly winnable game.
yeah, I agree. I think you made a really interesting point in one of your other coaching sessions where you said you can literally win a game through pinging.
Yeah, you
Uh,
actually can, straight up.
I think when I was playing my Smurf, and I was just spamming TF, just trying to get like back into the game. And in like these like silver low gold games, whatever, that's basically what I felt like I did. It was literally just like telling people to stop tilting and where to
Mhm.
go and what to do, and like no game felt unwinnable. But I feel like I never do that on this account, and I don't know why.
Mm. I mean,
Uh,
that's what we're here to identify. We're here to
Yeah,
identify the things that we're missing out on. And
yeah.
you know what? You can get away with doing this and win games if you're playing a scaling mage. You can
Hmm.
actually still win games like this by not doing anything, just autopiloting, getting farm whenever you can, and just waiting for a team fight. You can actually still win games. When
Yeah,
you play Ekko, it's gonna be a lot harder for you
yeah. That's probably
because
why I feel like I can just 1v9 on Xerath so consistently.
yeah,
Like,
because you're gonna sit mid, soak up all that farm. You're gonna get to a point where people don't know how to deal with your poke, and because the enemy team's also doing the same thing. Remember, Daniel, they don't know how to close out games, so
absolutely.
you're just gonna sit there, get this, and then eventually they might just start Baron. You poke them out from a distance, they get tilted. You get a few picks, you get Baron, and you win the game. But on Ekko, it's a little bit different because Ekko needs to have proper. You need to play the side lane. I mean, at the end of the day, you just need to play the side lane. Either need to create man advantage fights, or you need to come in from the flank. You need to abuse the strengths of your champion. You know
Yeah,
what's
I think
fascinating? Oh, sorry, go on, go on.
I was gonna say I think because I didn't take TP this game, like in my mind I wanted to go bot, but then I was like Baron's up and I don't have TP, so I don't. So rather than going bot, I like autopilot mid and I don't send the Theo bot either, so we're just in like a crappy spot.
Yeah, I don't think you ever go bot this game. You just go top and then
Yeah,
always push in here. Evelyn hovers you. Say Eve hover me. In my Nocturne guide, I actually have a little in the last clip. I actually have a little thing saying mid game macro, and it's one
mm,
clip where I literally am in the side lane as Nocturne, and I actually can't kill the person 1v1. But then I tell my jungler to hover me,
mm,
and I use pings, tell him where to go, and then we just get a kill.
yeah.
And I just want you guys, that's actually something you should probably look at. But
I actually think I
yeah,
should pick up I should pick up Nocturne. I watched the first like bit of that guide and it actually brought me back a lot to like when I used to play and mid lanes got Wraiths all the time. Like it was like it
mm,
wasn't actually a jungle camp, it was a mid camp. And I was like, like that's a style I miss of just like, punish, take counter, like jungle race whenever you can. Like
yeah,
it's
it's really
very
fun.
natural, I think.
Yeah, you'll like it. It's definitely a fun. It's pretty stompy,
Yeah.
that's for
I
sure.
just I just played two like normals with it right now. It was pretty lols. But yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, man, like this whole situation, and you know, what I was actually thinking here. If Tryndamere goes top because he doesn't want to go bot because he doesn't have TP, then this is exactly what's going to happen. Then what will happen? You guys make this pick, and then the 80 someone is going to have to go bot, whether it's LeBlanc or the 80 carry or whatever, and then you guys just Baron. Like you make this pick, and then if Eve wasn't going bot for some reason, you guys could literally just Baron. And this is the sort of thing that happens in solo queue. If you're the only one actually thinking about lane assignments, you can just make so many macro game calls. It's ridiculous. Like it's so free, dude. Like, and yeah, I mean, there's no surprise why you lose this game because you're just running around like headless chickens.
Yep.
What I'd be doing is tell Vayne to go mid. You say, Vayne push mid, hover top side. You get some vision in here. You push top all the way deep. Eve hovers you. You get vision around here. LeBlanc's going to be forced all the way to tier 2. Worst case, and then what you can actually do is you can literally push this all the way deep. And if you see you get a chunk out, you see Zach on the wrong side of the map, whatever, you can literally just do Baron. You can literally start Baron. Vayne Bard can heal up. Fiora has TP. Tryndamere bot has no TP. And you're probably going to be able to force a fight, look for a pick, or after you kill LeBlanc in the side lane or something like that, which will probably happen because Evelyn is really annoying. And then you can just snowball the win. But this is just terrible for you because you're never going to get a man advantage fight. You're never going to get a flank. You're going to get incredibly far behind in farm. And there's no advantage. Just it's a coin flip, essentially. I mean, nothing. There's no reason that either team should win or lose. And because they've actually probably got easier to execute champions. They've got Yuumi Caitlyn, and they've got Tryndamere, and they've got Zac. Easier to execute. They're probably just going to win the game. And that's the way I view it in gold. That's why a lot of people say the game's a coin flip, is because they don't actually try to create, like, they don't create their own reality. At the end of the day, you can create your own reality in League of Legends. And yes, not every single game, because people sometimes they don't listen or things get caught, whatever. But over, again, 100, playing a lot of games, you play the odds, you play the numbers game, you're going to see it work a lot more than it wouldn't work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. I never feel like the game's coin flip, because I mean, if you did, then you would say the game has no skill, which is clearly not the case.
Yeah.
But I always feel like every game is winnable, right? I mean, I've won, games that feel unwinnable all the time, right? But I think, like I said, I just don't make the decisions. Like, I realize, like, I didn't split in an appropriate time. Like, I don't create the conditions that would let me win this game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and like this is fine. You can make picks and things like that. It's good, but it's just like it's just
So
gonna
we
be
can't
super
get it
hard.
right because the Trinket just walks through our team, and then
Yeah,
again, just pretty much just like Yumi Trinket for the rest of the
yeah,
game. It's just over.
yeah. I don't think it's gonna be a very difficult game for you. That's for sure.
Yeah, like I
Um,
said, I think like once I saw the Yumi Trinket Dragon, like it's not like the game was over at that point, but I kind of saw where it was gonna go, and it was gonna look just like it is right now. And I think that's just because I don't have the like the confidence in my Ekko play that I felt like I could outcarry this Yumi Tryndamere combo in this game.
okay. Well, I guess yeah, that will come with time, and I still think that in this situation, whenever I actually feel as well though when I'm playing Ekko and I'm fed, like I always feel like he's a champion that can just 1v9 if you do the correct lane assignments and you understand. Because the way I see it as well with Eve is like, imagine being in LeBlanc's shoes right now in the side lane. It's like you can't kill Ekko, and if you ever use W aggressively, you don't know where Eve's going to be. And
Yeah,
then you're giving huge pressure, and then Ekko can either flank mid lane, because mid tier 1 was actually gone, which was massive. So then you'd be able to exert pressure over here. You'd push them all the way deep to tier 2, either force a man advantage fight, or they respect. You get heaps of more control, which again eventually will probably lead to a pick. And if then they get frustrated, someone's going to get picked by Eve and leads to Baron. Like, it's just a free win. Now, one thing I actually did see here, and I don't know, I want to get your thoughts on it, is that I actually felt like as soon as you type this, you're actually checked out mentally.
yeah, no, for sure.
Like, you're checked out.
I felt that game, for sure. Yeah.
You're tapped out. Like, whenever I see that, and whenever I see someone type this type of stuff, I'm like, that person's checked out, and they're not coming
And
back.
I think from here though, like worse than my own checking out, because I think I was still playing to win. I just wasn't as actively thinking about,
Yeah.
like macro, like autopilot mid here is a good example, right? But I think more than anything, the reason that this particular like typing is losing is because the Fiora and the Bard start flaming like crazy at each
Okay.
other from here on out. And then that's when I knew the game was over.
Yeah.
Like after the Fiora died to the Tryndamere top and like the 4v1, like there was just no coming back for like my team mentally more than just me.
Because one other thing I recommend you doing in these situations is if you people people always ask like, how do you stop people from flaming, or what do you type in chat to keep people focused? Literally, I found the best thing is to don't say stay positive or whatever. You literally type, you say what you need to do. Say something that's actionable.
Yep.
Because when people know what to do, it distracts them from the reality, like the situation. So if you just say, guys, you say the lane assignment, Vayne go mid, go top, Eve hover me top side, mid push out, hover me top side, or whatever you want to type, and you have your plan. Or whether it's, or we trade Dragon for top side River, we top side Vision, or whatever it is, people then know what to do, and then it distracts them and stops them, and then they actually know they're not just going to int. Because most people get frustrated and upset and angry because they generally just don't know what to do and how to win. They don't know how to win the game anymore. So if you're taking control and give them a form of direction, and then they say, oh, okay, this guy actually knows what he's doing, he actually knows how to win the game, then they feel like there's like that beacon of light. There's like that light at the end of the tunnel that they can see, which generally sometimes actually can get you over the finish line.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think like in solo queue, I remember like when I was actually good at solo queue and Halo and whatever. I think one of my biggest frustrations was like telling other people to play, like how to play, because I just want everyone to actually understand. But it's such a necessity that like in solo queue, especially without a duo, where you don't even have someone else to help you make plays. If you don't actually coordinate with anybody, you pretty much just put yourself in a crappy spot.
Yeah.
So
Well, it
I
doesn't
do.
have to be detailed as well. It can just be simple stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But even like when I think of like winning the game through pings, it's basically like, just trying to hold your whole team's hand through the game, right? Which is it's fair and it's effective, right? Even
Yeah.
even like typing to people and making them like more positive, because I agree that actually the best way to get them to stop playing me is to just tell them what to do. Just say, hey, it's winnable, go bot, or like
Yeah.
whatever. It's actually really consistently worked. I agree with that. It's just, yeah, trying to get myself, I think, in the mental state where I can
Yeah.
also where I can play where I feel is the best of my game, but
Mm.
also then help, because I feel like every time I type I lose something. It
Mm.
could just be like while I type I miss one CS, or
Mm.
while I like ping somebody, like I've missed,
Mm.
I miss a cannon, like whatever, like those things, like I feel like I'm giving up my own like chance of carrying like to let someone else like not feed because they can't look at a mini map or like whatever,
Mm.
right? And that frustrates me as well.
Mm.
Um,
Okay. Well, I think that again, like from looking at you mechanically, I think like you said, this is early on in your Echo. I think that will just come with champion mastery. Like the more games you play on a champion, it's just gonna become muscle memory. Like you're not gonna, because
yeah.
like I don't expect if you're
I
learning
still,
a
I still
champion.
think like when I play Ekko, right? Like when I play Xerath, there's no thinking. It's
Yeah.
just like
Exactly.
the stun just throws, right? Or like when I play
Yeah.
Orianna, like I don't think about ball placement. I just
Yeah.
place it right. So I agree. I think that champion mastery is not there for sure on Ekko right now. Even after like another 25 games, I would still say I'm like, I don't know,
Mm.
60-70% of like where I'd actually want to be.
Yeah.
Um, Compared to like a champion like Xerath or Orianna or Anivia, where like I could, I wish that like I think the problem is the champions that I most relate to, like from what I used to play and what I actually most enjoy playing, are just not good in solo queue in many cases. Like, not to say you can't play anything. Like I said, I could
Mm.
probably one trick Xerath the diamond if I really wanted to, because it fits my personality. I pretty much win matchups I'm not supposed to win. Like I beat most Yasuo's, like things like that are like difficult matchups that still just lose. Um, but I've never been a fan of one tricking. I get bored pretty quick, and I like I don't know. So I picked up Ekko because I think he's very counter to my normal playstyle.
Mm.
But he still has some of the strengths that I enjoy, like wave clear,
Mm. For sure. I
compared to like
mean,
I don't know, like a Zed or a Fizz. Like I can't stand playing Fizz.
like what I was actually gonna say was as well as like because you're learning Echo still, it's harder for you to focus to actually learn the other things like your camera movement with the mouse buttons, flash timers, pinging lane, calling lane assignments, looking for aggressive macro game plays, assessing side lane wave state, how aggressive and how what's the quality of trades looking like. All these things, they are hard to focus when you're not super comfortable on your champion.
Mhm.
So that is all things that I urge you to improve to like make note of and like. So I think if we're going to summarize a few of the key micro things, the MB1, MB2, and T, you need to do that and do them hardcore. You need to get used to timing flashes, like that's absolutely essential. And you
Yeah,
also,
I've made a point to improve on, and I've been doing much better in my more recent games. Actually, from
W,
this game, because I realized I didn't time the long splash at all.
yeah, that was massive. And like W usage was really big, and that need to work on, and your proto usage. Your proto belt needs to fix up big time. Like you're really not using it
Yeah,
very often.
yeah, I feel like if you think about the amount of times you could use it over like the period of was like a 25 or 20, 30-minute game or something. I think I probably used it maybe like 5 times if I'm going to throw a number at it in this game.
Yeah, it's very
And
little.
I got it at like 10 minutes. So like over like 20 minutes on a 30-minute cooldown was like 40 times I could have used it, and I used it 5. So yeah.
Yeah, that was a big one. So these were like the main ones, and then because this one, these camera movements tie into more as well the quality of your assessment of
Mhm.
what's going on the side lanes, and then identify, and then that also ties in. I think another thing here is just your jungle awareness of not just the enemy jungle. I think your tracking of the enemy jungle was quite good, but I actually think your awareness of your teammates' location is actually more important.
Yeah, I think I largely, I think because I was so focused on like my jungle doesn't exist. I think that was my exact quote to you at the start, right?
Yeah.
Is that like, well, jungles don't exist, so I'm gonna be like 1v1. Is that I think Eve isn't really a champion until 6. Like,
Mm.
so I pretty much like just didn't think about her. She's never gonna invade. Like my power doesn't matter. She's like barely contesting scuttles. Like she got the first scuttle and then she just gave up the second one, even though she was like full HP. So I think I just like, yeah, I think I kept that mentality even after she was 6. And
Yeah, I think so as well. I think you did keep that mentality, which is not helpful.
yeah, I agree.
And then those things, and like I said, there was a few things about the way you played the early waves, which you can do that in some. But again, you said it was just learning the matchup, so that's completely fine. But yeah, I think in terms of they're the micro things that you need to work on. But in terms of mid game macro, I think there was a lot of opportunities missed in terms of identifying playing towards your jungler. Like I think this was one where you could have also roamed bot and potentially influenced that fight. I don't know. And if you weren't willing to influence this fight, just taking a heavy trade onto LeBlanc here is completely fine, knowing that you're in an isolated 1v1, and that's really, really good. The other thing is I think the jungle location ties into you missing that play on that dive top, because after Eve gets that kill top, because I feel like here you were still tunneling on the bot side, and you still didn't really want to make a play top side, even though you couldn't make a play bot, and right now your jungle was on top side and was getting rift herald, and you didn't really adapt to the situation. So I think that this was more identifying like the change in the win condition or change in opportunities and plays. Because here, your job straight away, as soon as you see one jungle bot side, one jungle top side, that's a split map straight away. And then as soon as the split map happens, you need to be either actively thinking, am I defending a dive or am I making a proactive play? And when you're getting rift herald, the proactive play is always better, because if they decide to trade sides of the map here and you have Rift Herald, if they try to race you or anything, they're on a timer, because you just put the Rift Herald and you can get 3 towers or two whatever, and they can only get 1. So always trading sides of the map when you have Rift Herald is better for you to make the proactive or you know, that sort of play. So that's something to also think about. But I think the biggest thing for you in mid game is literally lane assignments, man. This is it. This is the if there's anything you're gonna take away from this entire session, is after this, when you get into mid game, it doesn't matter. You got to first identify yourself where you want to go.
Sure. Yeah.
Because before you even tell anyone else, you got to know what the hell you're doing. Because it felt like as soon as you got out of base here, you had no idea what you're doing anymore.
Yeah, it's autopiloted from here.
It's autopilot. Like at the end of the day, you can't expect to win this game, and if you're thinking like that, so this is the biggest thing, man. Like, and I don't know how often this happens on Ekko. I'm not sure, and you're the only one who's going to be able to know that. But for me, this is huge. This is a massive red flag, and you haven't even reached your 2 item spike. Once you get to your 2 item spike, you can take over this game, man. And identifying how are you going to use the tools on your team to win the game. Because at the end of the day, you have an Eve who's amazing at side lane ganks and super, super good in mid game. She's actually so strong. She's got a Rabadon's Runic Echo. She's incredibly strong. This person can't play the game. I don't think this person none of these champs can really play the game. They can all just get one shot. Trinket is a little harder because, you know, maybe, but I feel as well, like, you've got so much mobility. I think it's hard for Trinket to lock you down. But more importantly, just like, where do you want to be? How are you going to utilize this Evelyn? You've got a TP advantage here. All of this information just was not utilized. And you're smart enough about the game. You know the game. You played the game long enough.
Yeah.
I think for you, it's just engaging your brain in that way, and you're going to be able to figure out what to do. But you just got to do it, man, at the end of the day. But yeah, those, for me, they're the things that spring to mind in terms of fake sim. But I think step number 1 is the micro. You need to focus on the micro. So I don't know what your Ekko is like now, but the W usage, the being decisive on when to trade. You remember we spoke about that? Are you playing for the wave or are you playing to trade? Be decisive on which one you're doing, and not being afraid to use your W a lot more aggressively. Yeah, they're probably the main things for me, man.
Cool. Yeah, no, I agree. I think yeah, my Ekko's improved since this game, but still, like, I would say my W usage is probably still like suboptimal. My protocol usage is still probably suboptimal, but I think I take better trades for sure. But yeah, I think I can definitely keep improving. And yeah, I realize in this game, like, especially, and I think in general, I don't side lane enough. I think I still like attribute that to, you know, my old champion pool. I guess I think like Anivia or Oriana are not exactly like, oh, let me run to the side lane real quick. So I think like I said, like the time that I stopped playing was, when like Zed was, just coming out, and he was like one of the first mid laners that like legitimately just loved to side lane all day, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just adapting to that style is really hard outside of like TF. I don't really do it effectively.
And try out that new build, man. I don't like this Rabadon's
It's
third.
really interesting. I actually felt like maybe it wasn't your guy, maybe it was a different video, or maybe I was watching Mid Beast or somebody.
Mm.
But I thought that the Rabadons was like from you, so I think it's really interesting. Where I swear, like I remember someone saying like, oh yeah, no, like a lot of people like going Zanyas, but I prefer like straight damage, something like that. So yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, no, I'll
Mm.
try it out. I don't care. I don't find it to be like oh man, death cap is my win condition. So if that's not the
Yeah.
case, then there's probably a better build path, right? Like when you're playing Xerath and you hit like death cap void staff, you're just like, hey, I'm God.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like A and death cap's the same way on Ekko. So, and I find there are many times where I'd be like, hey, yeah, no, this is great to have, Azanias. It goes a long way. Plus, it lets your ult catch up sometimes, so you can use your ult for damage too.
By the way, I want you to experiment with it. Talking about Xerath build paths, by the way, I actually don't like going Morellos.
Some either.
Um,
So the games that I actually like only finish Morellos usually in games where we're just getting either dunked on by healing and my AD refuses to build an executioner, um, or I've just built a void staff. We go super late, and like this game, like right here where I go 20-4 and then lose, that Jax had like just godly healing and a Lulu on him.
okay.
And same thing. But yeah, I actually most of the time don't build Morellos in like games if possible.
Like this is a game where I feel like it's just Even that like
Yeah.
one thing a build path I urge you to experiment with is Ludens into Fiendish Codex into Deathcap. So what Fiendish Codex does is that I found it's much better than this item because what Fiendish Codex, why I like it, it's so cheap. It gives you CDR, a decent amount of AP, and more importantly, it gives you really solid flexibility moving into mid game. So what you can do
Yeah.
is
Probably gives you build
this,
Banshee. But like,
yeah, Banshees, you can go Zonyas if need be, or you can literally just sit on it and just go Rabadons after it and then straight into Void Staff,
Mhm.
and upgrade it way later. Like, I just find it's cheaper, it's better for the power curve, and it gives you way more flexibility. So I would experiment with that instead of Oblivion Orb. I'm actually just not a fan of Oblivion Orb recently, especially on long range mages. So there's something just to
yeah. I
try
think
that out.
durability in general on Xerath is pretty useless.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's better on like this is
I think
fine on Zoe,
in
but
this
not on yeah.
yeah, in this particular game, I remember the reason I built Oblivion Orb was actually because the only MR they had on their entire team was Mercs, which was just like barely countering my MR, and I was like on a massive spike. So
Mm.
I just felt like I don't think I could afford, or I had like 1,800 gold or some like awkward amount where I was going to sit on like
Right.
700 gold. So yeah,
Cool. Well,
so, yeah, I
yeah, thanks for
will.
the session, Daniel. It was a good one. I enjoyed this one because we got to talk about a lot of high level stuff.
Yeah, no, I think outside of just the Echo gameplay, which like I said can definitely be improved, and it's very counter to my normal mindset. Um, Next time we talk, there, I'll give you an update on my Nocturne mid as well.
Yeah, I'd like to see you
'Cause,
experiment with some Nocturne mid and keep me updated on just how everything's going, man. I'd like to see. I'm pretty confident you're gonna breeze through platinum once you tie up all these things, man.
it's just really interesting because when I think back to like season like all the way through like season 5, I was literally boosting accounts into diamond,
Mm,
and then now like now
yep.
it's like plat 4 is something else. So yeah,
Yeah, the
so it's
game's
not like
changed, man.
yeah, so it's not like I'm frustrated. I think I'm just more like uh, I don't know, curious, I guess. So I
Mm.
think we'll see. I'll put some of these things into play and obviously continue to improve my echo.
Yeah,
And go
man.
from
Keep me
there.
updated, all right? I want to hear back from you.
You got it, man. All right, talk to you soon.
Catch you later, man.